Hello and welcome back to the channel. I was going to do a live stream today, never had an opportunity to get around to it, so I thought I would throw together a video on one of my newer champions, which is Chee'ilth. I pulled her from the Titan Crystal I got after I completed Necropolis, took her straight to rank 2, and really have only ever used her on defense and battlegrounds and a little bit of testing in Realm of Legends, so I figured why not? Let's just try her out in an off-season alliance war. Had a couple decent matchups, figured now was the time to learn how to play her. So looking at Chee'ilth, health-wise, at rank 2, she's got about 70,000 health, about 8,200 attack, so pretty decent. Not the most, not the worst, so decent overall. Looking at her abilities, really excels if you're going up against a opponent that's hashtag gamma. Not really going to go into that. She just does more damage when you have a gamma opponent. But looking at her as an attacker, all her personal debuffs gain a 30% duration. On defense, her debuffs can be inflicted through block. Every 20 seconds, she gets a spirit charge. It's every 10 seconds if she's a defender, and those cap out at 10. When the timer expires, so every 20 seconds on attack or every 10 seconds on defense, she gains 2 passive cleanse charges. And then she also gains 170 crit damage rating and plus 15% bleed potency for each of the spirit charges. Punishing heavy attacks and specials reduces that 20-second timer by 7 seconds. So, if you're able to punish heavies and specials fairly easily, depending on the champion, it's easier. Some are easier than others. That can, you can get those charges built up fairly quick. On her heavy attacks, punishing the opponent's heavy or special with her heavy pauses all personal debuffs on the opponent for 5 seconds. So, if you've got a couple of bleeds on there and you're able to do that, it just extends that bleed timer out. So you can really keep those bleeds going for an extended period of time. And then the final hit of the heavy places 2 bleeds. On her SP1, she gains Grizzly's Grit passive for 16 seconds. While that is active, all attacks gain a 50% chance to inflict more bleed debuffs. So you do kind of want that on there if you can. Special 2 inflicts a 50% tranquilize debuff for 12 seconds. And while active, she cannot miss. And then every time a debuff or miss is prevented by the tranquilize, she extends the tranquilize timer for an additional 3 seconds. And then on her special 3, which can only be used once per fight, she gains a 35% vicious passive and also gains a 15-second regen buff, healing 50% of her lost health or 30% of her missing health, whichever is greater. So, depending on the fight, sometimes it'll be 50% of the lost health, sometimes it'll be 30% of her missing health. Kind of a neat little heal there, and I will show that in my war video. Now, if you're lucky enough to awaken her, oops, there we go. Her awakened ability, basically if an opponent is bleed immune, she gains a precision passive every time she would place a bleed, which increases the crit rating by anywhere from 475 to roughly, 450 to roughly 1375. And then Sister Eagle also provides assistance healing 55 to 90% of all damage dealt to Chee'ilth by physical damage effects. So, once again, those gamma champs that have that secondary physical damage, there you go. It heals it back up. Pretty much all of it if you can get up to Sig 200. So, all right. So let's go ahead and jump into the recordings of the gameplay. And let me switch screens here. There we go. And bring it back up. And there we go. And first fight up is going to be against Spider Pig. This is just on section 2. So in the second section, path 8, first fight. The charges here really aren't going to do much. This is just really to see how I use her. The plan going into this fight was to counter his special one with my heavy. Could probably counter his heavy as well. I'm not comfortable doing that. Not really boosted very large on this. I used a 10% attack and a 10% champ boost. I do take a little bit of a combo there. All things considered, didn't do a whole lot of damage to me. I am running 2 out of 3 in inequity, at this point in time. The other mistake I make in this fight is I accidentally pushed Spider-Ham to his special 2. He didn't really mean to. Do have a tranquilized, buff on there, so I'm really going to prevent, any power stings or anything like that. Do take the special 2 into block. It does a little bit of chip damage there, but you can see, overall, doing decent damage. Can't really take effect of the cleanse charges. Only have 3 of the spirit charges up, which is the kind of blue icon on the left-hand side there. But, took him down, and, that was an ascended Spider-Ham. Took him down in about 54 seconds. Really not playing it very clean or very well. The next couple fights up, I actually have 2 Jessica Joneses that were on the map, both on minis, both ascended. In this first one, really the only node that's going to come into play is it's got a heal on it. So, as I'm going, you'll see the heal pop up there. I just miss a parry. And, you can see the heal charges. She's up to 3. I'm preventing most of it, or at least some of it. Plan here is just to bait special 1s. Not really comfortable with either the special 1, which I can't counter with a heavy, or the special 2, which I probably could counter. I just don't really know the spacing. So just going to kind of play it safe and 5-hit combo. Dex out of the way of the specials. I'm at 50% health. Pretty much in charge of this fight, though. It does help that he was running recoils in this one, so that did a chunk of damage. But, we're going to finish this Jessica Jones off 330,000 health or so in about 42 seconds. So not too bad. And we're going to move ahead to the other Jessica Jones mini. This one is also ascended, but this one is not running recoils. Nodes, once again on this, really not going to come into play too much. But, there they are. So, starting this fight off at, pretty much exactly 50% health. So, really same plan here, just 5-hit combo. Coming into this one, what I wanted to try to do was get to a special 3 so I could see, just kind of how much the healing actually does. And, just going to bait specials. See, that one I could probably counter with a heavy if I knew the spacing was more comfortable with it. So really just going to bait specials, get to that special 3, throw it, and just kind of see really what it does. And hey, what do you know? I miss another parry, so I actually really get the opportunity to see how much I can heal up. There we go. Dex the special 1 there, and we're just going to throw the special 3. And I love the animation. The eagle and the bear on this, just really, really cool. So with the adrenaline healing, I'm up 26% health, coming out of it. And you can see there, I'm healing up for about 668 health a tick. And then we're just going to continue baiting specials out now. Kind of trying to go a little slow here now just to see how much overall healing I get. Did take a couple hits into the block, so roughly 20%, probably 21% overall, which was pretty decent. Oops, I don't know why that stopped there. And there we go. So down to 14%. And finished her off there. So couple quick fights there in Alliance War just to show a little bit of what she can do. Not a great, player of Chee'ilth yet, but, I figure if I can jump into Alliance War, never having really used her, and do that well on 3 pretty tough war fights without really boosting up, figured I wanted to go ahead and show it off just to let people see a little bit of what she can do on attack, since I think most people think of her as a defender. At least I did. My mind has now changed a little bit. So do want to thank you very much for watching this. If you liked it, please leave a like, please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks again.